Treasuries have been bid up, and the 10-year yield is on its way back down to 4% again. Most of the buying has come from two sources. First, Trump has been very vocal about his dissatisfaction with Fed Chair Powell, whom he solely blames for the surge in yields since taking office, and for Powell's inertia to deliver cuts. Trump has publicly criticized the Fed on numerous occasions, calling for a cut in the overnight rate all the way down to 1%. He even said he would not appoint anyone to head the Federal Reserve who would not lower interest rates from where they are. Powell's term ends mid-next year, and markets are keenly aware of Trump's power to name someone more amenable to aggressive rate cuts. Trump reasons that lowering the deposit rate will pull down the entire yield curve, thereby reducing the U.S. debt burden. He reiterated this at last week's NATO summit, Q&A, claiming that a 1% cut in the deposit rate would translate into a 1% reduction in U.S. interest payments, an assertion that misunderstands how Treasury markets work. Deposit rate changes only affect the very short end of the curve. Longer maturities include a term premium that reflects uncertainty about the future path of rates. Even after the Fed's 50 basis point jumbo cut at the end of 2024, 10-year yield still climbed as high as 4.8% in early 2025. If the Fed were to lower the deposit rate to 1% while inflation remains above target, and with tariff uncertainty still clouding the outlook, market participants would likely view this as, in Trump's words, a very low IQ move.
You were criticizing the Federal Reserve Chair before coming to this summit.
Yeah, I think he's terrible. He's an average mentally person. I'd say low in terms of what he does, low IQ for what he does.
They would price in the policy mistake, sending long yields skyrocketing. This underscores that lowering the interest paid on debt is not so simple. A far better approach would be to address the serious and unsustainable level of debt itself, but apparently that topic remains off the table. In short, the deposit rate primarily affects the short end of the curve. It's true that much of U.S. debt lies in the belly of the curve, around the 5-year segment, which might react more to cuts than longer maturities, but the same principle applies. Term premiums still matter. Markets have rapidly priced in further cuts due to these developments, pushing the 2-year yield below 4% again. Yet we believe the rally in 10-year Treasuries is unjustified, and a steepening of the curve looks likely from here. The second driver of the rally is Trump and his Treasury Secretary Bessent, seeking to restore confidence in U.S. duration and entice institutions back into long-ended Treasuries. Their proposal centers on loosening the supplementary leverage ratio (SLR), the U.S. version of the Basel III Tier 1 leverage ratio, which dictates how much common equity banks must hold relative to total leverage exposure. Large U.S. banks must currently hold 3%, and the 8 global systemically important bank holding companies must hold an additional 2% buffer, the enhanced SLR, restricting balance sheet capacity and limiting investments. By lowering these requirements, they aim to free up capital that could be funneled into Treasuries to boost the debt market. A Goldman Sachs analyst projects that the rule change could release up to $5.5 trillion of bank balance sheet capacity. But Fed Governors Adriana Kugler and Michael Barr opposed the proposal, warning that it would meaningfully decrease capital requirements while doubting it would actually improve bank activity in Treasury markets, and thus increase systemic risk. Indeed, when the Fed temporarily suspended the SLR in 2020 to boost Treasury market liquidity by excluding cash deposits and Treasuries from the denominator, neither a surge in buying during the exemption nor a wave of selling afterward materialized. Taken together, these factors leave us bearish on the Treasury rally, especially at the long end. A country with such high deficits and debt levels, coupled with an unsettled inflation picture and lingering tariff uncertainty, finds it hard to justify a 10-year yield below 4%. And if global trust in U.S. debt were truly returning, we would expect a strengthening dollar. Instead, yields have slipped back toward 4% without any meaningful dollar rebound. That suggests the market remains unconvinced, and we too remain cautious, positioning ourselves to take short positions